Oh, first I want to say thank you so much for purchasing from Medicines by Lily. It's always a pleasure to read for people that I have communicated with personally. So, before I show you everything that I have out on the table, I first want to say that the general impression that I got when I was picking cards and crystals and incense and all of that, that this Beltane season is going to be a very important time for you and your partner. I want to say it will be a time of quickening for you both, where you both will kind of grow at a rate and unfold at a rate that is much greater than either of you are used to. But I can't for sure say what's going to happen because I haven't read the cards yet. So let me go ahead and show you what we have on the table today. I was really drawn to bring my blue lotus flower to the table today instead of Buddha. Of course, I've got my tea light in here to represent spirit, selenite to attract all positive energies, black tourmaline down here to deflect negative energies and entities. Right here I have a peacock ore, which I like to use for overcoming obstacles. I'm going to skip this one here, I'll get back to it in a second. Here I have my amethyst for psychism and clairvoyance. In front of that I have my beautiful little turquoise to represent the divine. Right here I have my rose quartz, and in readings that I feel are about relationships or have a great impact upon relationships, I like to put these two crystals together. This is black granite, which for me represents very much the masculine principle. And rose quartz represents the feminine, so I have the female in the relationship and the male in the relationship. In front of that, I have my rainbow petrified wood for patience. Over here I have, this is one of my absolute favorite crystals, emerald. And as I'm sure you know, emerald is very good for dealing with matters of the heart and emotions. And it's really good for healing and releasing and recognizing emotions. So I just really felt that you needed that today. Right here I have my angelite for angelic connection, healing, guidance, all of that. This is actually one of my newer crystals. This is rainforest jasper. And from the moment that I picked this up, the impression that I got was to balance physical and mental energies with emotional and spiritual energies. So I don't know why, but I felt like you really needed that today. Hopefully we'll find out. So right here I have my beautiful aquamarine, which is used for communication on all levels. It's really good for healing and opening the throat chakra. I have beautiful little tiger's eye for strength and courage. And last but not least, my beautiful clear quartz crystal for clarity. So, and back here I have a stick of rose incense burning. And as I'm sure you know, rose is very good for matters of the heart, for relationships, for love of all kinds, self-love, romantic love, familial love, all of that. So, the deck that I picked for you today, it actually kind of jumped off of my shelf at me. This is the Romance Angels deck by Doreen Virtue. Again, I'm not really sure why I was drawn to all of this, but I'm hoping that the cards will reveal the reasoning behind it. So you wanted to do the Beltane spread, and I am so excited because Beltane is only 2 days away where I am, and I can feel the energy building, and I'm just getting very, very excited. So I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling, thinking about you and what you need to hear right now, what kind of energies you need to be shown and to feel, and the kind of situations that you might need to experience, you know, just the guidance that you need at this time. This card just jumped out of the deck, so we'll take a look at that in a second. So, alrighty. I'll go ahead and look at the card that just fell out of the deck for you. Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So I have a feeling this is the significator for your reading. Like I said, the general impression that I got when I was picking the deck and the crystals and the incense was that this Beltane season is going to be vital to you and your partner's relationship. I know that you guys were already in a pretty good place, but that you're having difficulties with the distance between you. And long distance relationships are not easy under any circumstances. So I understand completely, and obviously the angels do too. So with this, it's very important that you focus on this, just spending time, you know, talking and getting to know each other a little bit better. Especially if you have been at least thinking about marriage and moving in together, you know, that kind of thing. It's very important to know that person on a level that goes beyond any faults that they may have, that you would see once you are in the same space as they are. So I think we're going to look at this as your significator card. Let's see, where can I put this? I will leave this off to the side here by the lotus flower. And so let's go ahead with card 1, which is what is needed to honor the creative self. Playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So basically, it's time to get in touch with your inner child again. Whoops. So, an important part in any relationship, especially a relationship with yourself, it requires that innocent, kind of playful inner child energy, and to be able to access it at any time. And a lot of adults, when they get out into the real world, they kind of bury that inner child because it has no place in most work settings. Like if you work in an office, sorry, that's my phone. Let me shut that off for you. Sorry about that. Oh, nuts. A little bit rattled. What was I saying? Yes. When adults get out into the real world and there is no place, like if you work in an office, there's no place for the inner child to shine in that particular setting because it's all about paperwork, emails, you know, basically office etiquette. So no, no pranks, no jokes, no toys, like no frisbees, no balls being thrown around the office, no darts or anything like that. And it after a while, it can really wear on a person. And the creative self most often can be found within the inner child. And so, in order to honor your creative self and to kind of unleash it, I think it's really important for you to kind of take the time and really focus on finding your inner child again and finding a way to let her out without interfering with your work situation or with your relationship or with your family relationships, your home life. I know that the way that I do it, me personally, is I play video games. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I play video games. It activates the mental part of my brain, but at the same time, all of the different colors and some of the dialogue and just the way that some of the games function, it really inspires me. It really activates my inner child and my creative self. And for you, that might be books, or it might be plays, like theater, or it could just be, taking a walk out in nature, being inspired by the different animals you see and the different plants, whatever it is, find out what that is. And I'm being told to tell you to try to include that in your inner temple. That it's really important for you to find your inner temple right now on top of your inner child. And so if you need me to explain what the inner temple is, just let me know, but I have a feeling you know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and get to card 2, which is the shadows that are holding you back at this time. And we have free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. Because this card has a unicorn on it, I am again reminded that it is important for you to find your inner child. The unicorn is kind of a fairy tale guardian for children of all ages. And they have that magic and that majesty and that just wonderful power to bring out somebody's playful side. A lot of people, when we're young, one of the earliest things that we get really, really interested in are fairy tale creatures. I know when I was about 9 or 10, I became very interested in unicorns. I eventually did grow out of it, but for some people, that's still in the very center of their being. That fascination is still there, but it's not something that they can necessarily access whenever they choose, because they don't have access to where it comes from. They don't have the access to their inner child. And so in doing this, you will be freeing yourself. It will be what takes down that barrier, more or less. The shadow that holds you back is that adulthood barrier that society creates, telling you that you can't be this way, or you can't act this way, you can't think this way, and it's just really important for you to break that down at this time. So let's go ahead onto card number 3, which is what is needed to let go and allow your creativity to reign. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. I think this card is so cute. So, with these cards, we've already gotten that it's really important for you to activate your inner child, activate that innocent, playful energy. And in order to do this, this is what you have to do. You have to make the effort. Even if it's just taking, 10 or 15 minutes out of your day to take a walk, to journal, to read, to just sit and daydream, whatever it is that your inner child is guided to do, you have to make that effort and do it. And I know how stressful it can be, because I myself put it off for about 2 years. From the time I started on my spiritual path, I put it off for about 2 years because I didn't want to set aside all that extra time when I could be doing this or doing that. But the truth is that when you make that effort and you break down that barrier and you take that next step, you open 100 doors that could lead you in 100 different directions. But you get to see what each door is, and you get to make the choice. That is what is so beautiful about this. And I really do think that you can do this. In fact, I know that you can, because the angels would not be telling you to do it if you couldn't. And I think that that is something that is incredible. I'm absolutely floored by this right now. So, just... Okay, let's go ahead and look at card 4, and I'll go back over the reading here at the end. So, card number 4 is how to express your creative self. So once you have freed it, how do you express it? And we have religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Yeah. So basically the message that I am getting with this card is that once you have broken down that barrier, you need to include your spiritual path on how... I can't even find the right words. I know what I'm trying to say. Once you have broken down that barrier, you need to include your spiritual path in the effort that you make to maintain it. Does that make sense? So, I know that you are a card reader like myself, and that you are in a relationship, okay? And that's pretty much all that I know about you, which is fine. That's really all that I need to know in order for me to explain that the cards are trying to get you to kind of break out of your shell. Like I said, this Beltane season is going to be very important for your romantic relationship, but it's going to be even more important for your relationship with yourself, because it's time to kind of break down that barrier and get to know yourself again. Free yourself. Make the effort to realign with yourself. Because once you do that, everything else will start lining up. And it's so important to make sure that you don't neglect your spiritual path. So if you already do daily meditations, don't drop it. If you do daily draws with your cards, don't drop that. Be true to who you are as an individual, as a reader, as a human being. We have needs. As human beings, we all have needs that are mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. And I'm feeling like you're divided the same way a lot of people are, where you get to a point where you are too worried about either mental and physical, or too worried about spiritual and emotional. And it kind of goes back and forth. You have trouble staying in that balanced area. And you're not alone. A lot of people go through that. But by unleashing the inner child and the creative self, you kind of realign yourself and find a better balance between the two. And when you do that, everything else just kind of aligns into place with your spiritual frequency, with the frequency that you are giving off in that moment. And so it's just very important to stay true to your path. Even when you feel playful, or, you feel that inner child energy and you just want to explore, or you just want to paint, you have to remember your personal truth and include it in your daily activities. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at card number 5, the last card in the spread, which is, what changes will expressing the creative self bring? Trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. Like I said, I had a general feeling that this reading was going to be a lot about your relationship with your partner, but also your relationship with yourself. And this card totally verifies it. By breaking down that barrier, making the effort to break down the barrier and keep the channel open, letting your inner child or your creative self out and just kind of finding that balance, you'll be able to trust yourself more to make decisions. And I have a feeling that you have at least been thinking about closing the distance between you and your partner. Whether he moves where you are or you move where he is. And I can relate to that. But you have to be able to trust your own judgment before you can make a move like that. And then once you have gained trust in yourself, you have to be able to trust him to do the same, to trust his own judgment. Because if one of you is not ready to make that kind of commitment, then it's not going to work. You guys will move in together and you'll end up not knowing each other as well as you thought you did. And it could just go completely wrong. So basically what I got with this reading, I'm kind of looking it back over, is that, you got to make the effort and kind of break down that barrier and get to know yourself better. And then once you do that, you can get to know him better, and he will get to know you better. And in doing all of this, do not neglect your spiritual path or your your personal truth. I know that I just recently started talking with my ex again. We're kind of at a really weird conjunction here where we're friends, but we're not, we're not in a relationship kind of thing. It's really weird, but everything that I'm seeing in this reading is exactly like my situation, which is why I'm telling you about it. I didn't know him as well as I thought I did, and that's why it didn't work the first time. And in fact, I'm not sure it's going to work this time either, because I still need to get to know him. He still needs to get to know me. And I am so, so grateful that I trusted my own judgment and didn't move where he was. And I didn't let him move up here where I am, because it went wrong. And I don't want you to have to go through that. And I don't think the angels do either, which is why they're giving you this reading right now, saying you need to make the effort to find yourself first, and then get to know him, find who he is. Trust your own judgment, and, help him to trust himself, so that you guys can make the decisions that will be right for you, both as a couple and as individuals. So, I am really hoping this helps, and I am wishing you a very blessed Beltane, and I'm wishing you the best in your relationship. Absolutely wishing you the best in that. And thank you again so much for purchasing, and I hope to see you again soon.